Hey, it's been a long time again. I know we've had some life changes. Tom's now pregnant. Kyle has had a nose job. Looks great, by the way, Kyle.
Thank you.
And I have invested in a bounce house company. I have a feeling that bounce houses are going to be the thing of the future. So hopefully my investment of $10,000, which is my life savings, will pay off. But hey, everybody, welcome back to Keeping It 1492. It's good to be back for our listeners. I'm sorry for neglecting the 4 or 5 people who religiously tune in, or maybe Tom just playing us over and over to kind of boost our ego.
No, we hover around 10. Eventually, those 10 people will get to listen to episode 19.
If we could figure out those darn Russian robots, if they would just keep playing our episodes over and over again, then they wouldn't be darn Russian robots. It would be, thank you, Russian robots.
You just gave me an idea for like kind of self-promotion. Would be commenting on every like article like that's published by the news, like Trump says this. I'm like, can't believe he said this, but listen to Keeping It 1492.
Yeah, we could totally like...
People are like, what?
Those YouTube comments that are just like, follow my webcam at blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Like, just be like, listen to Keeping It 1492 over here.
Yeah. And then after that, watch this bootleg version of Batman vs. Superman.
We could use the promotion. Publicity. It's rough. When we only do this once a month now, I forget how to talk.
You see, I think we need something to spice up this podcast. Like someone needs a bad drug habit.
I think we need a cartoon cat to join our podcast.
That's right. It? A cartoon cat?
Yeah.
Do you think that's the missing link?
Yeah, Checkers the podcat.
I like that. Well,
whoa! I committed the
I didn't
Josh
know this
Party
was.
foul.
I didn't know this was the BBC 4 philosophy podcast. I thought this was a professional podcast.
I am sorry, 10 listeners. I'm the bad guy today.
I'm actually surprised that they don't get like in shit for that. Like, why are they allowed to have their phones? Like, we're doing a fucking podcast from a living room.
We have stepped off from the basement. We are technically moving up the house.
The crock pot box I'm recording off of. Tom said I could have it, and if you guys could see this, I'm not good at describing things, but man, it looks like a great crock pot.
And I feel like Tom must have killed all his roommates and tucked them into their beds so they're not making noise or bothering us while we're here.
Did you do that, Tom?
No, they're all just away. One of my roommates, he's actually in Portugal on a vacation.
What is he doing in Portugal?
He wanted to go somewhere different, so he's in Portugal for like 2 weeks by himself.
How much is he fucking banking?
I don't know. He's just walking around like the Portugal countryside.
Dude, I would never do that. I would not do that solo.
I'm not like that either, but he's the adventurous type like that. Like, he is totally fine going to a foreign country, like across the world, by himself for 2 weeks.
Is this Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Let's call him up.
He wanted to go on a trip, so he's like, I'm going to go to Portugal. I did ask him. I messaged him a couple days ago if they had Keystone in Portugal. He told me no.
Dude, we're going to see like Hostel 4, and Tyler's going to be in there getting like his anus dug out by like a spike.
He hasn't posted on Instagram in like 2 days, so it's possible.
No, Portugal's good.
I don't
really. You been there?
No, all drugs are legal.
Really?
That's awesome.
Portugal?
Yeah.
So no wonder he wanted to go to Portugal. At Keeping It 1492, we do not support drugs.
And he's avoiding all the Catalan versus Spain stuff is in Spain, and the Portuguese are just like, we're just Portuguese, we don't care.
They do care. One Iberia. They're all Iberian. They care.
One Iberia. Is there another group that just wants to take over the whole dang
I'm a two Iberian.
No, I don't know if you know this, but it's the Iberian Peninsula. It's Spain,
no, I do
Portugal.
know because I consider myself relatives to them, because the first people to inhabit Ireland came from the Iberian Peninsula, and that is why there are Irish people with tanner skin like me.
Why? You're Irish?
I'm mostly Irish.
I thought you were Turkish.
I am not. I'm not.
So you're relating back to the previous podcast. Well, sort of the confusion for you, Turkish. I mean,
maybe I haven't given my DNA information to one of those companies.
It's only like $80 to find out.
I really
what you
want
are.
to do it. It's even.
I'd rather spend it on beer. I'll forget.
I'm just gonna keep it in my wallet. I'm just gonna keep it in my wallet. So,
But Josh,
just
you
give that
spend
to the
$80.
airport guy.
Give 2 weeks with shipping and handling. You can find out you're like 13.2% Sicilian and like 1.3% Norwegian or something.
I know. Yeah, my family. I just come from genes of whores. Literally, I mean, it's just probably scrapings from some fucking Spanish settler did this Native American woman who.
Oh, you're a mestizo.
Yeah.
Josh's relative was the first one to get the clap on.
Probably. My relative probably brought the clap. I'm sorry, listeners.
You brought it to Europe,
Right.
I've got some.
And I'm still better than Kevin Spacey at this moment.
Oh,
I got some pretty bad gene stories. Like my mom's father, her grandfather was adopted because this Irish family was so poor that they like put up half their kids up for adoption. They were adopted by this richer Irish family, tried to reform them, and my grandfather
The
and
McDougalls
my great grandfather
adopted from the O'Sheas.
Yeah, they both ended up just poor painters, despite their rich adopted family trying to help them.
and now you're a poor podcaster.
Yeah.
We're all poor podcasters.
I just got a promotion.
Oh, wow. Oh, you know what? What kills me, there's a person who's probably not even going to listen to this, but there's a person on Facebook who I saw, like you go to college or high school with these people, and then you see like they're doing successful, and then you're like, well, good for you, but then you're like, why aren't I in that position? And then you're like, who helped them out? You know what I mean? So you like kind of go down the tiers. But there was a person who started their own business now, and like they've kind of advanced from a crew we used to hang out with, and I was just like, how the fuck did he get money? And then I'm like, oh, I know how he got money. That's the only reason he's at that position.
Sucking.
Oh,
wieners.
I know. I think I know.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the same page now.
Right. Sucking dicks, that's why.
Kyle, this is an AB conversation. You can see yourself out of this.
Excuse me. I am the chief editor of this podcast.
There's a reason why me and Josh look at each other and you're just off to the side.
I'm in full assassination view right now. We make many enemies with this podcast, and now that we're not in a basement, I'm actually pretty scared. Although the blinds are drawn,
Is this just
people can still
it?
infrared through this room and shoot me through those 4 windows right in front of me.
It'd be a really sad state if they're trying to assassinate meddling podcast.
Hey,
For speaking out
we
about the
live
Grabby
in
hands
we
and
live
such.
in some dangerous times.
Oh, have you finished editing our episode yet?
It'll be up tonight.
Okay.
And then the next episode will be up in 3 weeks.
Well, I'll do
No,
this,
just
so
kidding.
I will edit this Sunday and Tuesday.
So-
Listeners, by Wednesday, you will
Wait,
hear
it'll be up
this.
tonight. So technically, we've been out without a podcast for nearly a month.
Yep.
God damn it! Our 10 listeners.
Hey,
now.
listeners, I
See, the problem is-
sincerely apologize for not putting the podcast up.
If we could come together as Americans and understand that everyone has a podcast, and most likely no one's listening to that podcast.
I was talking to Brother Weiss, a radio celebrity in Rochester, and he informed me that everyone has a podcast, and they'll get them up eventually.
I enjoy Brother Weasel a lot, by the way.
Never listened to him.
Is he still on the Fox? Is that still a station?
Yeah, it used to be. Was it the Fox and then like the Brew? I think
Still
it was called.
95.1?
Yeah, then it was called the Clap. Then it was called the Burn. Then it was called Feel the Burn. But then Bernie Sanders ran and they had to change it.
I found out that Joe Biden is like 77. Joe Biden's older than Bernie.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
he's
know that.
running. He's running again. He's gonna fucking show.
No, he said he wasn't running, and then the press said he was.
Yeah.
Was he like winking to them and we didn't see it?
Dude, we need like, if we just brought a young guy, if the Democrats did, they'd be fine. But I feel like
We already had one. It was Obama.
Yeah.
Right. But they just need another young guy. to be good.
Bernie and Biden on the same ticket.
And then,
Can you
but-
imagine?
Well, I thought it was that one senator
Oh,
from
geriatric.
the one senator dude from New Jersey who spoke like the
Cory Booker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I thought he was
also
gonna be good.
I don't like him.
Obama-like.
He's in the pockets of the pharmaceutical companies.
Who isn't? We are. They'll be our first
I
ad.
don't do pharmaceuticals.
The heroin go round
Kyle, random question. Smell your pot filter. Does it smell like must?
a tiny bit, but
Oh, mine is a lot of bit.
So
I
not to get sidetracked, but it's just stings the nostrils.
Speaking of heroin, though, I think the greatest way to kind of divert heroin usage would be just be like, before you do heroin, you're like, hey, do the cool kids do heroin? You're like, no, but I don't want to be a cool kid. But like, anyone who's kind of had a stable life really has never done heroin. So that should be a great...
I disagree, though. Look at all the celebs throughout the 20th century who've done heroin.
Name one.
If you want to be as cool as Miles Davis, he was on heroin for over 10 years.
Didn't he eventually like end up broke and was like...
Miles Davis?
Yeah.
I don't think so. He was still... If you look at Miles Davis in like the 80s, which I think he died in like the 80s and 90s, in the 80s he was wearing like freaking like hip hop windbreaker jackets like before like rappers were.
Was he going to all the cool parties with Flock of Seagulls?
What?
I'm pretty sure Flock of Seagulls were only going to a party for maybe 1 year.
Flock of Seagulls just plagiarized Miles Davis.
I don't know. I don't think he wrote I Ran So Far Away.
He did. It was just a trumpet instrumental version.
Do you think Flock of Seagulls had grabby hands?
I think a lot of 80s bands did, but those darn groupies, they're not gonna tell. They lose. Okay.
So we didn't really. I mean, we've been trying to get back to our listeners, and there's still all this sexual harassment shit going on, and we thought we kind of continue on our immense conversation we had last week.
Kyle's idol's a toucher.
Who's your idol?
My idol?
Yeah,
Billy Idol.
He's definitely
not my
toucher.
idol, but no, he did some shit right here in Rochester in the 80s.
Billy Idol did?
Yeah, it was actually a friend of my uncle's. Billy Idol hooked up with her in a hotel and then just like beat the shit out of her.
That's intense.
What happened after that?
I think he did get like arrested and shit, but I don't know.
Why did he? Was he just like,
he was just
messed
really
up?
fucked up on like drinking drugs? I think he, probably some other mental crap too, or fame. You name it.
Yeah, well, I could imagine like
I guess
it's like most of the Billy Idol is kind of a like a 2-hit wonder, maybe.
I remember my English teacher in 8th grade. I really liked her. Did you have Mrs.
No.
I probably shouldn't name drop her, but
well, you just did.
She was kind of an older
We can
lady.
post edit that.
I hope she's doing good. If she's I'll just beep her out. But I liked her a lot. But I remember her talking about Billy Idol, and she was just like, we didn't really know who he was, and she was just like, he was like the epitome of punk rock. And then, like, later I got into punk rock, and I'm just like, Billy Idol was punk? I don't know.
No, he wasn't.
Was he, like, the mainstream punk guy? Was he,
pretty much, like,
he what made
almost like
punk
borderline, like, punk new wave.
Was he the Fall Out Boy of emo? Like, he made the genre. He's the poster child for it.
Fall Out Boy of emo. Like...
Yeah, was he
like were there emo people who like didn't like Fall Out Boy because they liked just...
Most don't like Fall Out Boy.
Oh, no?
Yeah. They're much maligned, even though they're great artists.
Well...
Speaking of which, their new album is coming out soon, listeners. I highly suggest you buy it or download or listen to it on Spotify or other media outlets.
Do they still have the same genre, or are they just like generic rock now?
I don't know. I mean, I consider their genre greatness.
They're suck.
Speaking of emo and punk and stuff...
Touching.
This year is the last 2018 will be the last Vans Warped Tour.
It's about time.
I thought it already ended.
No,
this will be the last year. It's still coming to all the cities.
Yeah, one of my favorite frat rappers is actually one of the semi-headliners on it. It's about time that thing ended.
Frat rappers?
Yeah. What kids that rap? It's called frat rap.
Like what's that guy's name?
Remember Asher Roth?
Yeah.
Like that. There's a lot more than him, but that would be kind of your standard frat rap where it's basically white college kids.
But it's not all the white, because like Yellow Wolf is a white rapper, but he's southern.
It's not everyone.
There's like the redneck rappers.
Like all these, dude. No one's gonna remember half these fucking names. Probably 90%. Like there's a dude who died today called Little Peep. I'm like, who the fuck is Little Peep?
He was a famous YouTuber according to CNN.
Well, they said that he actually blended emo and rap, which caught my eye. I wanted to kind
emo
of
rap's called heel hop. HIO-hop. Heel hop is considered emo hip hop.
Heel hop?
Yeah.
Is that like an Egyptian pharaoh?
No, it's what it's called. It's called heel hop.
Heel hop.
Like Gym Class Heroes.
Ones and twos.
Like Gym Class Heroes, you could call heel hop because he raps, even though it's with the real instruments, but he raps since emo.
I would like to see someone mix ragtime with emo.
What is
And
ragtime?
rap.
Is that like a ragtime?
Camptown ladies sing that song. Do-da.
That's
Or what about some Zydeco rap? You get that like you know what Zydeco is?
No.
It's like the Cajun like French Louisiana music where they got the
You're not gonna do an
accordion
impression?
and the triangle.
You don't want to do an impression, Kyle? What would that
Le
sound
bon
like?
ton roulé. I don't know. It's really hard to. Zydeco is like that one music genre. I'm like, I don't know if I can get behind this because most everything I can.
I listen to there's this one station I always like somehow find it, and it's like a lot of like Latin music, and I always dig it. That's so we're going back.
Is it
to the
reggaeton?
No, it's Latin. It's so going back to the DNA stuff. There's some Latin in me because I'm always in my car and I'm just like, are you dancing like as a joke or are you dancing for fun? And like I was thinking this the other day. I'm like, I'm dancing for fun. I enjoy this. Like I like this music, and I will dance to it, and I will keep dancing to it. Hey everyone, it's been a great podcast.
Tune in tomorrow because now we're just doing this every day.
Tune in tomorrow and you can listen to this in about 6 weeks.
Yeah, I don't have to work tomorrow.
Why do you have tomorrow off? It's not even a holiday.
I'm going to Boston.
You take a lot of time off from work.
I'm not getting paid for it. But yeah, I'm going to go see a concert in Boston. And I'm going to get crazy with my Bostonites.
Are you gonna go see Boston in Boston?
I would never see Boston in Boston. I would go to Boston, but not see Boston.
Would you see Boston somewhere else?
Would you see Kansas in Boston?
No.
Would you see Boston in Albuquerque?
Give me one band that has been named after a city that has been decent.
Well, there's not many bands after cities, like places.
There's Alabama, which is after a state, and they suck.
Is there a band called Chicago?
There is, and Chicago sucks too.
You know who's okay? Asia.
Because
Yes.
there's a few members from Yes,
Yeah.
But they did. I never meant to be so bad to you.
Is that Asia?
Yeah.
Okay. The heat of the moment. Yeah.
That's another shitty 80s song, but it's just like there's times like anytime you have either English children like background vocals or people clapping, you're good.
We don't need no education.
Right.
I'm just very confused right now.
See, the clap.
Yeah.
If you involve
clap with
people,
you can't always get what you want.
yeah, you have the choir. So there's. I listen to U2 sometimes, and there's this one.
You listen to YouTube sometimes?
U2, the band U2. I actually like U2, and for some reason, our generation hates U2.
Well, because they invaded our iPhones.
Who's better, you2 or me first? I thought it was funny.
Tom, I'm not going to respond to that.
There's actually a band called Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. And I'm not making that up.
I hope so.
I think they're like punk or like ska or something.
So, do we want to follow up on the Grabby hands? Because,
I mean, do we...
there's a lot's come out. You know, with Terry Crews coming out about the whole male-on-male harassment thing.
Well, that's already been out there. I mean, the thing today was Al Franken.
Really, even we didn't really talk about Louis C.K. and that stuff has been out there for a while too. But just finally,
yeah, I think that was like announced maybe a day before our last podcast.
But the Louis C.K. thing, I guess Gawker did a thing about it. Like
I thought Gawker was
months,
dead.
maybe even like years ago. Nothing really came of it, and then because I guess it was just considered rumors then, and then finally
it was known, dude.
Because I remember one of our friends who is normally deemed kind of crazy with conspiracy stuff and whatever. I remember her telling me.
Are you talking about yourself right now?
No.
Yeah, maybe. I remember her I mentioned Louis C.K. and she brought that up months and months ago. Mm-hmm. He just jacks off in front of girls naked and throws the splooge on them or something. Yeah. It's just a lot of details for us, but then it came out to be real, and it's like, holy shit.
And so the thing I give him credit on is that he actually said, I did it. It doesn't negate the fact that he fucking did what he did, which I don't think a normal person would do that. That's just weird sexual deviancy. You know what I mean?
Whipping the dick?
Dude,
Well, it's also weird when you consider like his show. Like I watched a good chunk of his show and his stand-up.
There's a lot of, like,
he jokes about masturbation a lot.
right.
They weren't jokes. The best jokes have truth behind them.
Well, I guess, but
Well,
I would say though, what you said, at least he admitted it. It seems like a lot of. I don't think this should be like a left-right thing because it's just wrong.
It's just moral decency.
But it seems like more people who kind of are on the left side of things, whether they're politicians or otherwise, are more open to just be like, "Oh shit, yeah, I did do that." Like,
well,
they admit it.
look at Roy Moore now.
Yeah, and Roy Moore is just completely
just
denying
like,
it.
that
Trump
didn't
completely
happen.
denied it.
He did all that stuff when he was a Democrat, though.
Was he a Democrat at one time?
I don't. There were.
Well,
There's been a bunch of postings how Rush Limbaugh's been going off about it, and I was saying like he did all that stuff when he was a Democrat.
But
So it doesn't-
right,
it doesn't-
Southern,
that-
a
it
It doesn't
Southern
matter that he's a
Democrat.
Republican now because he did it when he was a Democrat. Like that's like been his whole like thesis behind it. Like, but he did this stuff when he was a Democrat.
But a Southern Democrat is more like a Republican today.
What do you sit there
Like
saying
back
about
in the day.
the original GW?
Yeah, dude.
Did he was
Yeah,
grabbing
HW,
butts on
yeah.
his re-election campaign?
Did I tell you though? Because there was the movie. I was talking to someone about it last week, but it was like, oh yeah, like it was about this kid named Johnny Gosh, and you can find it. It's on Netflix. So if you just Google Johnny Gosh, but supposedly he got involved in like a whole child sex ring, and George H.W.'s name was like at the top. Like he's been known to be a perv. And where there's smoke, man, there's usually fire. And the thing is, these people, there's something in our culture that's wrong. Like, why are there so many sexual deviants? You know what I mean? Like, there's things you shouldn't do. There's things that should be known that are unacceptable, but these people are still doing it. And then they're still right now. Roy Moore is not going to win. He's not. He's fucked, and he doesn't have enough like pride in himself to say. I guess he has too much pride, but like he's not humble enough to be.
Well,
I did this. I'm sorry. I did this. I was a scumbag.
I was listening to the news on the radio this morning, and he just seems like a nut job to our standards. I mean, not just for denying that, but he's still campaigning in these like small towns in Alabama, and he has like very religious, really overt overtones. He's saying like, like God is not part of America anymore. We got to restore Christian values. So, sorry folks, that was Roy Moore's men trying to sabotage our podcast and assassinate me.
Yeah, the ghost of my computer.
But
just went crazy.
We're stronger than that. This podcast.
Hopefully, when I get a new computer, that stops. I don't know if it's because of my computer or what, but that's a weird thing.
I'm telling you, man, they're all listening.
That feedback is intense.
We are under more psychological, cyber, and physical attack than prominent truth seekers like Alex Jones.
Do you think this is the Russians meddling with our podcast?
Goes beyond the Russians. Talking about the alien greys, we're talking about the reptilians who aren't they, right?
Oh, sorry, where were we before my computer?
Tom, you ruined our mojo.
I know,
man.
I did.
We're
I feel like a dick.
we're talking about Roy Moore and just how like he's campaigning this like Christian message, which is so ridiculous, after denying groping underage women.
I'm starting to think, actually, no, I know for a fact that if you are godless, you seem to be more moral of a fucking person.
I mean, like Voltaire was saying that back in like the 1700s.
Yeah, I would agree.
He was saying like, although I'm not Christian, I feel like I'm more Christian than most Christians
You only have
proclaim to be.
You only have one life to live, and like most of us, how many 7.5 billion people on this planet? There's a 0.000000001% who's going to be remembered. You know what I mean? But you should still do your best to live a decent life, and no one's going to be perfect. You're still going to do fuck ups. Fuck ups happen because they help us learn, and you should accept your fuck ups instead of running away from your fuck ups. And we're teaching our kids the wrong thing, that deny, and people will eventually be okay with it and forget.
Well, I think
we were on the underage thing. There's something I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
One of my computer went crazy. Do you see the things that the author John Grisham said in an interview Neither one of you caught that.
No,
Upstairs.
no.
John Grisham.
Yeah. Well, no, it was on
dropping
CNN.
Johnny G?
Yeah.
Isn't he like the romance like novel?
No.
I think it was
It's
like more.
the
Well,
quote.
he was basically. I won't bring it up because my computer goes crazy when I touch other programs. But you can look up the quotes. He basically said that there were 65-year-old guys his age, nice guys in prison, who got online because they were drinking or something and clicked the wrong stuff and discovered child porn. So he was basically excusing pedophiles. Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all looked up some pretty stupid shit online and never gotten close to looking up child porn. Like, you can type in some pretty crazy shit.
Here, let me Google it.
I'm doing it right now.
Child porn. No? Okay.
Okay, yep. Here's the exact quote. I'll give the listener some context. We have prisons now filled with guys my age, 6-year-old white men in prison who have never harmed anybody and, in parentheses, would never touch a child. But they got online one night and started surfing around, probably had too much to drink or whatever, and pushed the wrong buttons and went too far and got into child porn. They deserve some type of punishment, but 10 years in prison? There are so many of them now, sex offenders, they have put in the same prison like they're a bunch of perverts or something.
Well, maybe they are.
But yeah, that was all over, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. And it's...
Well, there's going to be this backlash. I mean, because it is like so many people all at once, as it should be.
Well, it's...
I mean, the problem is that these people that are just coming out now, they felt pressured not to because of our culture or just other things going on. I think it was like about a week ago there was a French journalist who she said that when she was 15 she was at an opera and she was getting felt up by this like really old French politician, and at first she thought like, all right, he's just like touching my leg because he's old and like a doddering old man, and then he kept moving closer and closer, and then her father, who was a politician, so her father was a conservative politician. This guy was like a socialist politician that was groping her.
I thought you were going to say he was liberal. I was like, well, it sounds like he's a very liberal politician. But you didn't go there for me.
Well, in in Europe, they're more liberal, so they're socialists. But so her father told her to go to the police, but she didn't want to because she thought she would hurt her father's career. But then finally she came out because of all the other people coming out about other stuff, and she, I think it was her that wrote, this is almost like a woman's spring, like how we had the Arab Spring a few years back. This is like the woman's spring, like all women all over the world coming out about these things they were too embarrassed or scared to come out about years earlier.
Yeah, well, now it seems like it's everywhere, and I mean anything. So even the slightest thing could be viewed as sexual harassment. So, I mean, granted, I'm with the women on this subject, but like, when is like, don't you think it's almost certain people are going to take it and just view it as something they can use as to get attention?
I mean,
I don't think most of women are going into it like that, but I'm saying
there's going to be cases like that, and that should be a given. But the issue is going to be if people think that most of them are just women wanting attention, when really it's not.
I had
serious.
A girl in college come up to me multiple times. It was like a few different girls would come up, grab my belt, pull it, and just stick their hands down my pants and grab
That's
my
harassment.
junk. I thought it was the coolest thing on earth.
You were violated.
I thought it was just like they were being very forward, and I was like, this normally doesn't happen to me. But I guess I was just like, like in my penis was like, hey, dude, someone's touching you. That's not you. And like, that's how I viewed it.
What if it was a woman?
21-year-old job.
What if it was a woman that was 50 years older than you?
Dude, I had that, and I had that before, and this woman was like trying to get me to make out with her, but she was like trying to like, I was like, no. And she showed me her boobs and everything, and this was at a concert. Fucking tons of people.
You've just been harassed everywhere, haven't you?
Yeah, man.
But it's different because it's just like other things. It's who's in the position of power, like not even just situational, but like systematically and historically. Like if and that's what makes it. It's not like it's okay for every woman to just grope on a guy, but I don't know. I'd say it's more okay than if it's the other way around.
it's okay if one gender does it, but it's bad if the other does it?
Well, because of like the systematic power involved. I mean,
but a crime's a crime.
A crime's a crime.
It can't be lesser if one does it and more if the other does it.
Well, it's...
I'm just sorry, maybe it's how you phrased it, it threw me.
I did phrase it badly.
Basically, well, if women grope, it's okay, but if men do it, it's terrible. It's like, what? It has to be the same, doesn't it? So I just I
don't think it really is the same, though, because it's, like, men are in a culture where it's like, dude, if a woman wants to have sex with you, you're stupid if you don't.
So...
Where if...
I have a situation for you, and let me know if this is a crime or not then. So, when Amanda Bynes takes advantage of me, that's not a crime?
Tom, I think you would run and hide and start crying.
Tom, is that just your dream?
Coming from the dude who barely masturbates, masturbation is healthy. Masturbation would cure many of society's ills.
Oh, it was funny. I was listening to a podcast today, and they were saying...
As long as you don't do it...
They said if you jerk...
Women are right in front of you.
Do it with the door closed.
They said if you masturbate 20 to 30 times a month, it reduces your risk of cancer and other diseases.
Yeah, which is understandable. What? You have a guest.
Through the window, staring at us. Like we're performers
Thumbs up.
or something.
Thumbs up, Tom.
We're not just circus performers. We're people.
You know what's funny is like...
And circus performers aren't.
So my buddy had a funny masturbation story when he was growing up. And I'll share this. I'm not going to name names. But he was doing the biz, and then his brother walked in. Sees him completely naked. He keeps the door closed. And he's like, I'm changing. Like, why is your dick erect? You're obviously not changing. But I guess when it's in the act, you were going to be like, I was doing my taxes, you dick. Like, I guess changing, like, wait, good for him for, like, pulling that out so fast, because I could be like, I was masturbating.
This is when I'm diversifying my 401k.
I'm seeing if my clothes still fit.
I am having quite the return this year, and I was pretty excited about it until you walked in.
I'm playing horseshoes by myself. Get it like the erect penis, and you ding. But seriously, it was like, we still give him shit for that. I don't even know why he told us that story. It's one of those like, why'd you tell us?
He probably felt comfortable, and you guys just tear him down because of it.
No, it's someone you know too, Tom.
Yeah, it's like when I told everyone in my high school about my like stomach issue I had. Is the reason I was homeschooled in middle school, and I told one of my best friends that I played lacrosse with, and he just literally laughed for 40 minutes in front of my face in study hall.
What?
After I told him
irritable bowels?
No.
What was your stomach issue?
My intestines were full of poop, so like I didn't have like sensitivity in my bottom, so I didn't know when I was going to the bathroom or not. So like I couldn't like leave
That's
the
a
house.
thing.
How'd you fix it? Surgery?
Yeah, I had 7 gastric enemas. Where they literally put an enema and they tape your butt cheek shut, and they leave you the enema in there for 45 minutes.
Blink-182, enema of the state.
And it works its way all the way through your intestines to break down. Then you like shit for like an hour straight.
See, I just do that for fun.
So
I mean, was it?
So I told him this like very traumatic story like a few years after, and he just started dying in the study hall. Like it was the funniest thing you'd ever heard.
Tom,
it's like this is why you don't tell other 17-year-olds things.
Tom, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Was that hour shit the most satisfying shit you ever had?
No, because it smelled like an enema and radiology. Because you're in a radiology room and you wear like a giant lead thing on your stomach, so you literally are just like shitting out radioactive like enema juice. It's terrible. I don't wish it upon anyone.
But now you're a superhero,
and I have regular poops now. Modern medicine.
So it's basically like you're an X-Men, but you're an X-Men that like started out pretty, like your powers were negative. But now you're an X-Men because you're just a regular person.
Sure. So is there anything else we want to talk about?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, we barely kind of dipped our dicks into the subject of sexual harassment with our dicks. But going back, sexual harassment's not cool. Masturbation would cure so many things. So please just masturbate with the door closed. Don't do, like, if you're into kinky stuff, make sure your partner's into kinky stuff. If they're not your partner, I would probably maybe slowly go into the situation.
This just means that you're going to have people sign waivers for everything. Like, you're going to have waiver to consent to a first date. You're going to have, like, a waiver to consent to holding someone's hand.
You know what I'm going to do?
Literally, it's like this Chappelle skit where they had to sign before going to bed. You're going to do that for, like, every step now.
I'm going to have them sign on wafers. Can you please sign this wafer? Oh, you mean wafer? No, this vanilla wafer I have. And they'll have, like, all this printed on it, and then they have to sign.
And you'll stick it up their ass.
Right? What? I wasn't expecting that. Well, you signed the wafer.
And then it's like, they'll sue you, and then they'll get it pulled out, and the doctor will be like, well, you signed it.
The doctor, wouldn't it be the judge?
Written on this wafer. That's how actually our Declaration of Independence was. Like, TJ was up in his room fucking scrolling on a wafer, drinking some tea, thinking about his wine business, eating some veg.
That's what National Treasure 3 is going to be about.
I'm kind of sad that never got made. That's here nor there, but I really want a National Treasure trilogy.
I would like one too.
Be awesome, yeah.
Those movies are exciting.
But see, now I feel like it's too far removed, and Nick Cage has done so many. We've talked about this. He's done so many terrible one-star movies. I don't think he can get back and do a real film.
Well, soon Nicolas Cage might be the only actor left in Hollywood that hasn't committed a sexual crime.
I don't see Nick Cage getting named.
I don't either. His sin is buying
too many castles,
Tyrannosaurus Rex skulls,
spending too much money. You know what?
I'm kind of scared though. I think one of my childhood idols in Syracuse, the Pride of Syracuse, Tommy C. I feel like Tom C is going to get named.
You know who I heard has been haunting Canandaigua quite a bit lately?
Who?
Phoebe from Friends.
Really?
Yeah, I guess she's been hanging out. She has a house in Canandaigua, and she's been like seen in the Wegmans lot and stuff.
It's not surprising. It's still very.
Where'd you hear that from?
My dad. So I don't know. I don't know how true that is then, but
is it someone that looks like her?
No, it's she's Lisa Kudrow, right? Lisa Kudrow.
Well, I think most people in our region don't give too much fucks when we see a famous person. We're like, oh, famous person. Let me get my sub from Wegmans and leave me the fuck alone.
I was at my dad and I had to go to like a funeral, like kind of like my dad's like family friends, like his family friend's father died, you know, or grandmother. Yeah, it was like grandmother, mother. And so we went to the Stoneyard breakfast place that they opened up.
Free advertisement.
It was okay. So let me negate that advertising. It was okay.
It was okay. As most of their food is.
But we're there, and my dad's like freaking out because that guy like John DiTullio was in there. So he's like, John DiTullio's right over there in that table. I'm just like, I don't even know who that is. Like, I know he has a sandwich named after him at the other store.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He talks about it all the time. And by the way, they're moving to the old smokehouse. Did you know that?
Oh no! So they're going to be right next to the breakfast company.
Yeah, which is the worst fucking name. Like, are you trying to create like a PBS kids show? We're the Stoneyard Breakfast Company.
Well, the funny thing is they have like a full size bar in there still, but it's like just coffee.
Would you like some caffeine?
And the food was kind of pricey for what it was. But
yeah, and it was just okay, right?
Yeah.
You're in Brockport. People aren't going to spend that much money on food, dude. Look, know your surroundings.
That's the issue with Brockport. Is this is the most all over the place?
Well, I also miss when garbage plates were $5.95. Remember, like when we were in college and a garbage plate was $6. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember I got one when I was in Brockport because I didn't do the Halloween gig. I stopped there and a garbage plate was $8.95, and I'm like, yeah, it's
still
not
good.
Yeah, it's not 2006, and we're like. Remember when Zonies had $5 calzones, though? It's like,
Zonies.
This stuff just doesn't exist anymore.
I miss Zonies.
Zonies doesn't... Didn't they go to Calio's? And now Calio's is...
Yeah. It was like multiple owners. I think it split up or they went different ways.
They still were fucking horrible. It was like cheese, Jimmy.
What makes Brockport a weird town is that you have like the college element clashing with like this Victorian towny element where it's like they don't get along. It's like,
and then this hick element that comes in.
The hick element from like the outskirts.
No, there's still hicks in Brockport, man.
Yeah.
Wait, $13 for a breakfast carnita?
Are you looking up? Yeah.
that's
I mean, you can get like a breakfast sandwich.
Why is
reasonable
corned beef
price.
hash $12?
dude, rip off.
And
I went to the.
it wasn't.
Sorry.
It was not as good. It was homemade corned beef hash, which for that price it better be.
Dude, it's
not as good as.
That's not.
As,
It's $6
diners in
to
the
make
city
your own
here.
breakfast sandwich. I don't know what breakfast sandwiches cost you. I get it's a bit fancy ingredients. But it's like, if you want bacon, Yancey's Triple X Sharp Cheddar on an English muffin with a scrambled egg, that is $6.
I went to the Highland Diner.
We just give them a lot of free publicity.
Highland Diner's got some nice corned beef
Amazing,
hash.
great price. Got so I got it was like almost like a breakfast garbage plate, scrambled eggs piled on top of potatoes, piled on top of chopped up sausage, with a layer of gravy on it, with 2 fucking biscuits for $8. And it was amazing. I shit my brains out the whole next day, but it was fucking well worth it.
It's making me hungry now.
Dude, me too.
And top of the morning to you. Best corned beef hash in the city, Highland Diner. If you're going to go a little outside the city, Mel's Diner in Greece has got some other
I'm not a big diner
I
guy.
should go there. I don't like a wait for my diner. I like to be sat. Like at the Highland Diner, we sat down and like these women were positioned like they were looking at us like they were like the old people on the Muppets, like critiquing us. And I just couldn't take it because the whole conversation they were having was about their grandchildren and Facebook. I'm like, God! And then, oh my God. And then the woman packaging up her meal to go. It was like she was going to a fallout shelter.
Was she packing up a breakfast to go?
Yeah, oh my God.
I always feel like that's like the weirdest thing. I
Horrible.
mean, I don't think I've ever got any breakfast foods to go.
Because
it's like, no matter how full you are, just eat your breakfast. It's your first meal of the day. just finish it up.
She asked for like a container and then 2 plastic bags. 2, just in case the first one leaks.
Well, you gotta be prepared.
Just fucking eggs. You can't like put eggs in a microwave after you cooked them.
Yeah, you can.
You can make eggs in a microwave, but afterwards,
You're just reheating them.
like for what?
The microwaves have a hotkey for reheat.
Are you going in an earthquake simulator before you're going to eat your leftovers?
Yeah, are you in like a fallout shelter and you need some hot food?
Oh, side note, I made instant potatoes today. That was weird.
Instant.
It
was like potatoes.
You mean-
I
Just
did
like
the
the
thing where
flakes?
today I went grocery shopping. I'm not going to get my normal food. I'm going to find like a bunch of random crap for the next couple of days. And in the aisle, I passed like the instant potato section. I've always been curious about them, but I've been scared because like it's potatoes in a little bag. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So what you do is in like a piece of Tupperware, you put 2 cups of water in it. You put it in the microwave for like 5.5 minutes so it boils. Then you just dump this whole bag in there and stir it together, and then it turns into potatoes.
Like mashed potatoes?
Yeah. It was very awkward.
You know,
Kind of tastes like cardboard. Will not be purchasing again. But I made instant
Eat
potatoes
rice.
tonight.
Rice
Yeah.
is good.
Well, I was trying
I
different
mean,
stuff.
stovetop instant potatoes don't take that long either. But,
Well, it's the same bag. I mean, you can cook it in the microwave with the stove. I just
you know what my parents got the other month?
the other month.
It was like almost like salt potatoes, but like in one of those like steam in the bag freezer bags. So you just like cook like these little salt potatoes. Right in the
Yeah,
microwave.
I've done
Those are
that.
pretty
Like
good.
I get the little like they're like $1, and they're like the frozen vegetables or potatoes. I don't know if they're different. You're talking about something a little bit different.
Well, it
but-
was just this one was just all potatoes. I don't even think you froze them. Actually, they were just in the pantry.
That makes sense.
They weren't even because potatoes, you know, they don't
Yeah,
keep for a long time.
but I did stuff like I also don't eat peanut butter or jelly. But again, I was buying like really
I eat
random
that, like,
obscure
every
stuff.
day. I need
so
to stop.
Today I bought a container that it's peanut butter and jelly together in one container. You know,
What,
have
like
you seen that?
like the Smuckers. Like
Yeah.
the whole-
Yeah, so I bought that too.
It's not as good though.
It was different. I had that and the instant potatoes. So, like I had 2 obscure things I've never had before in the same meal. There was a lot going on.
It's a lot of instants.
It was. That's my compelling instant potato story.
You know what? I'm glad you tried those instant potatoes, Tom.
And now I know that I will never get them again.
I still eat food from cans, and I still think they're like beans. I will eat I'll open up a can of beans and just eat it.
Like green beans, kidney
No,
beans.
like Bush's beans.
Well,
I
used to eat-
remember. I used to see you
Aren't they
eating
every
just like a can of soup out of the can. Like
Yeah, I did without heating it up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found
Well,
it.
It's not weird. I mean, like, if you got a bunch of Vienna sausages, you could just eat them because they're just on the shelf. They're already been, like, cured or whatever.
For a long time, I couldn't eat, like, baked beans. And it was because of fucking Dennis the Menace. I watched that as a kid too much. And that scene where, like, the homeless guy is, like, eating the beans. And then Dennis just, like, keeps feeding him the beans. And he doesn't want to eat them. He farts
into the fire. And
and then
I just watched that movie, too.
That turned me off of baked beans for, like, 15 years. And then I finally just was, like, at a picnic. And I'm just like, yeah. And I was like, all right, this is good with my hot dog.
I love baked beans so much. He will not... Christopher Lloyd will not destroy my love for
Dennis is just... He's too much of a menace, man. They should have thrown that kid in juvie.
I'm surprised they didn't make another one of them yet. Like, 25 years later, a new Dennis the Menace.
He's still in the Sunday comics.
I don't read the Sabbath comics.
The Sabbath comics?
Yeah, I don't touch them.
What if you're Jewish? Do you only read the comics on Fridays then?
I prefer a non-religious day. I read my comics on Wednesday.
What's Saturday? What's the Jewish Sabbath? I don't know.
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, so Saturday morning, which they're not even in color.
Yeah, I don't do work on Saturday or Sundays. I celebrate both Sabbaths.
That'd be cool. It's like a Saturday I go to the synagogue. Sunday I go to the
I'm actually
church.
thinking about creating my own religion where I don't have to work any day because every day is the Sabbath. I think that'd be fun. I don't know how to get money, though. I need a lot of wealthy donors to pay me to not work.
Let's go on Patreon.
What's Patreon?
It's like you just pay people for like creative projects and stuff.
Yeah, no, through our podcasting host site, we can link it there if you want to give us money.
Hey, donate to Patreon after we make it someday.
I feel like our ship sailed. I mean, we should have really hit Patreon hard. We had 50, 60
one
listeners
of our
in
7
episodes.
regular listeners could be Warren Buffett.
If he's making all that money and has time to listen to us, then I really have questions for him.
His mind might be going. All he knows is good investing, and like, what does he even fucking do? It's like a finance company. Like
I don't know. He stares at
like
charts and graphs and things that go up and down.
All these companies that you don't know what they do, they're just crooks.
Yeah, crooks.
Show me your products. Show me what you make. My podcast, I can whip it out on a phone. Like, this is what we do. Warren Buffett, he's like, I don't know.
No, it's funny. How many millions has he probably made in the 40 minutes we've been doing this?
Hey, by the way, fuck Keurig, right?
Why? What did Keurig do?
Because they're Keurig is against that guy that is groping underage woman. Isn't that it? Or something?
Yeah.
It's like Sean Hannity or something.
Pandering to his listeners.
So, does anyone have anything they want to add? I feel like we're kind of...
Yeah, I feel like we're rambling, so I think maybe now's a good time to wrap it up.
Listeners, thank you so much for listening. I think you're going to get hit with episode 19 and 20 back-to-back. Hopefully very quickly, and not 4 weeks in between.
And hey, if we don't have an episode next week, let me enjoy your Thanksgiving with your family. Eat some delicious turkey. If you don't eat a turkey, eat some yams. Yams are always good. And Kyle will play you out with a Thanksgiving melody.